Hello, this is Dr. Erica Lewis, and I am recording a overview for Nursing 772 to orient you to the course. First of all, welcome. We are very excited to be working with you and glad you're here. If you're on the home page, you'll see that there are modules, and we'll get into each aspect of the module. But to show you a few other aspects of the home page, you'll see that there is a to-do list here on the right. That's a nice way to organize what you have coming up that's due. And you may notice that we've really increased the amount of scaffolding assignments due. There's not more work due in 772, it's just that we've tried to make it clearer when things are due so that you're able to meet those benchmarks and know how you're doing along the way. Another nice way to see that is in the View Course Calendar button. So they're on the right, and I'm in Student View, so that this should be exactly how you see it. You'll need to make sure that your course is highlighted, which you do by clicking on this box here. And then you'll see the assignments for the course, and you can see how those are spread throughout the months. So this might be good to take a look at the beginning just to get an idea of when things are due. Another handy feature is this calendar feed here. If you click on that, you'll be given a feed which you can import to things like Google Calendar or Outlook so that all of your calendars are in the same place. So that may be a helpful tool for you. All right, so now that we've talked a little bit about organization, we'll go through the specific aspects of the course. If you click on the syllabus tab here in Canvas, you will have the syllabus. The key information is on this main page, such as contacting the instructor and the schedule. Noting there on the schedule that the Omega Zeta Professional Development Day is required for synchronous attendance. It'll be virtual, but you do need to be available that day to attend. Similarly, you can notice there under the contacting the instructor that all course faculty request you not send messages through Canvas. We find that those are not as well organized as through emails. And you can see our specific availability there. So Practicum 2 focuses on a systems level approach, and you can read those course description and specific objectives and how they connect to the learning for DNP students. There are 2 required checks, of which you should already have the Terry one, and you most likely already also have the APA manual. If not, you'll need to purchase the APA 7th edition specifically. The 6th edition is not the same and will not work. At the bottom of the course syllabus in Canvas, you'll see another list of all of the things due and when those are due. So again, peruse this as you start the semester, get a sense of when the deadlines are in the class and how that's laid out. You also notice here in the right that there is the overview of the different types of assignments and the weight for those assignments. We'll get into that a bit more as we look at the assignments tab. And I encourage you to please, I know these videos are slightly cloudy, so look at this on your screen, and then also please print a copy of the syllabus. I've put that here in my browser so I can click to it easily. And I just wanted to point that there are really important methods of evaluation, the grading scale, our policies on Turnitin and preparedness, and similarly some important policies related to the graduate school and COVID-19 and how that is being handled. So I'm not going to read each of these to you. However, I do encourage you to please look over these policies as they affect how you will progress through the course. All right, so next let's go to modules. So the modules are generally contain resources and assignments around several different groups. The first group is the Welcome and Connections module, and that is really just some scaffolding around making sure that students and faculty check in throughout the semester. And once this orientation video is done, that'll be here as well. So you'll see that there's a page that you can click on to do get some resources that you need for that specific area. Then there is a proposal module, and those resources are listed here in links, and then the assignments are listed below it. So all of the assignments in the course related to doing the proposal are here in this area. Similarly, there's a practicum module, and you'll see resources for that here. Some of those will be repeated resources from what you saw in 771. Others of them are new, so please do look through those. Then you'll see below that are the assignments that are required for the practicum, beginning with the beginning of semester paperwork, progressing through chronicle submissions, and the STTI professional day, and your end of semester paperwork. Notably, your STTI professional day does afford you 8 hours of practicum, so you'll want to include that. And similarly, which I will need to still add to that group, your organizational assessment will also count towards your practicum hours. We'll see that here under assignments. That is still under revision, so it actually isn't going to show up while I'm here in student view, but I can point out where it will be. So when you look at assignments as a student, you can either show them by type, which is kind of how I prefer it, or you can click to by date. By date is pretty much exactly what you see under the syllabus list. It just shows you things as far as in the order of when they're going to be due. Showing by type, however, breaks them down by the different areas and then shows the weighting of that area. So you notice we have these numerous preparedness and participation activities. Those are not worth any points in the class. However, they are there to scaffold your learning experience and help you to be successful with the assignments that are worth points in the class. Notably, they still are very important. So for example, the end of semester paperwork, you cannot pass the class without submitting that. However, it's not necessarily worth points to submit it. It is not worth points to submit it. So you need to know that those are still important. There are 3 chronicle submissions throughout the semester. The first one being your individual objectives for 772. The second being your journal reflections mid-semester, so your updated hours and reflections on those hours. And the third one being at the end of the semester where you do all of that, plus you evaluate how you met your learning objectives for the course and individual, and you do your revised DNP self-assessment. So once the organizational cultural assessment is done, that will be here in this category. And notice that is 20% of the course grade. It also awards you 20 hours of practicum credit. So you will receive a grade for that. You also will be able to count 20 hours towards your practicum for that assignment. Moving on then to the proposal assignments. The proposal assignments are 40% of the course grade. And you'll notice that those do vary in the amount of points they're worth, and there's also some that are just reminders in there, and I'll explain why. So early on in the semester, you'll be submitting an abstract on your work for the Omega Zeta scholarship day that's coming up, which you must attend. And then as the semester progresses, your workflow will be that you will submit your proposal ideas to the DNP committee. And then you'll begin these iterative cycles of review of your project proposal with your chair, and eventually when your chair says to include your entire team, those cycles of review will include your entire team. So we've given these deadlines for when those cycles of review should be. These are formative, meaning that these reminders are not graded. It's only the end of semester proposal that is graded. However, you need to have the end of semester project proposal at a point where your committee is able to sign you off to move forward with that proposal in order to register for 773, which is the next practicum course. So it's very important that you receive feedback formatively along the way so that your committee is ready to sign off on this as your final proposal document. And then the only other assignment in the class, which is worth 10% of the course grade, you see the white weighting there on the far right, is your draft IRB application. And we'd like to be clear that you should not submit to the IRB until your committee says to go ahead with that. This assignment is meant to get that drafted. So all of these assignments are meant to move you forward with the two primary activities of this course, which are your proposal for your project and your accumulation of clinical hours. So I do want to point out also, we'll get there. We're looking at our clinical hours. There are some guidelines for what you can count as hours and what you cannot count as hours. And I'll pull those up here. Part of the reason I'm addressing this is that we need to make sure that we're getting sufficient direct clinical hours, things where you're actually doing things, and that those type of experiences are outlined here. Given the COVID situation, we have gotten into a situation where we've needed to be creative in order to make experiences direct, and I'll give an example to make sense of that. So if you attend, let's say, a continuing education session, which requires special approval from your faculty member, your chair, you might then make a presentation about what you heard and how it could potentially apply to your project, and then show that to your preceptor. So that would be taking just, acquiring knowledge and doing something with it. And we're going to be working in that direction throughout the semester. All right, please, read not only these examples of hours, but also the DNP practicum guidelines in full so that you're well prepared to do that this semester. We really look forward to working with you and encourage you to reach out to us with any questions.